I'm concerned. I mean, like, we're out of sync, in a lot of ways.
Oh no! We suck again!
And we've addressed some things, but we're not seeing the production on Sundays, and really that's all that matters. So, but yeah, I would say we're a little bit out of sync.
Hi everybody, this is 7 Sports Extra. Welcome out live to Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. I'm Josh Moser, and you saw the Waterboy reference here. It is tough right now for Dolphins fans. They were expecting a somewhat of a good performance here against the reigning Super Bowl champions. However, this one ends up in the loss column, and it ended badly. In case you missed it, let's show you these highlights. We're going to start in the fourth quarter or take you through this whole thing. Opening drive for the Dolphins. Jacoby Brissett linking up with Preston Williams. Yak, yak, yak. That leads to a field goal. The Dolphins up 3-0. Let's go Tampa's turn to answer. Tom Brady to SoFlo Pro and former St. Thomas star Gio Bernard. That put the Bucs up 7-3. Ensuing Dolphins drive. What a play call. Brissett to Myles Gaskin. Miami retaking the lead. However, Brissett had to be carted off following the toss. The QB would fight through a hamstring injury, and his teammates applauding his toughness after the game.
I went and came back, and that was the process. Yeah, kept going.
He's done a phenomenal job, just being tough back there. Keeping plays alive with his feet, getting knocked down and getting back up, and being a leader and a fighter for us.
Let's go second quarter, game tied at 10. Brady to Antonio Brown. The former Norland High star goes 62 yards to the house. It is 17-10 Bucs, and more from the duo just before the half. AB in from 4 yards out, more than 100 yards receiving. Dolphins down 24-10. Now, would there be magic before recess? Miami threatening, and its former Dolphin, Ndamukong Suh, recovering the forced fumble. Credit Shaq Barrett. Dolphins trail 24-10 at recess. Fast forward, third quarter we go. Brissett trying to bring the Fins back, and watch this. Somehow stays on his feet, avoids the rush, finds Myles Gaskin, eyes in the side of his head. Unbelievable play. Then here's the 6-point toss. Great play call. It is back to a 7-point game, 24-17. However, the Dolphins D breaking down after that. Beautiful ball to Mike Evans. Brady, 30 of 41 for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns. 45-17 is the final. The Dolphins have now lost 4 straight, falling to 1-4 on the year.
I think just collectively as a defense, we just didn't do enough. I think there's a lot that goes into it. We try to play team defense here, and we didn't get it done as a unit.
I mean, it's hard. At the end of the day, it's hard. It's hard to. It's just hard at the end of the day. You look at guys that really lead this team, and you just got to believe. That's the main thing.
I think it's 11 guys out there, so we all got to come together and do our jobs and make plays when our opportunities present themselves.
Obviously, the cliche is early in the season, but it really is. We got a lot of football ahead of us. We didn't sign up for an easy task. It's not like everybody was saying that the Miami Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl. But I think we got the right amount of the right guys, the right men, the right coaches.
Time now to go more in depth on this Dolphins loss, and for that we welcome in our very own Drew Rosenhaus. Drew, Dolphins fans are roasting this team on Twitter. What's the Dolphins' biggest problem right now?
I would say the health. When you're down to your backup quarterback and he's hobbling, playing on one leg, that's tough. The other thing that jumps out at me is the offensive line. They've had to shuffle their lineup every game. You're supposed to have an offensive line set with cohesion throughout training camp in the preseason, not where you're shifting every week. So it's really hard to win in this league when you're struggling at the line of scrimmage with the offensive line.
Maybe the biggest problems are on the defensive side. You represent a few guys on defense, Jerome Baker, Emmanuel Ogbah. What are they telling you about that side of the ball on this team?
Yeah, I think in general, there's everyone's disappointed with the 1-4 start, but I certainly don't hear any panic. There's still time. There's 12 games left in the season. The message from my clients has been, we've got 12 games to turn this thing around. We're not giving up on the year. We're off to a bad start, but let's not panic. Let's come together and try and have a representative season of this organization.
One guy that has a chance to come back next week is Tua Drew off of injured reserve. He's missed the last 3 games dealing with those fractured ribs. How much do you think he helps this Dolphins team if he comes back against the Jaguars?
He's got to help him a ton. I mean, they drafted him ahead of Justin Herbert. He was the top 5 pick. He's got to be an impact player. Jacoby Brissett has predominantly been a backup throughout the majority of his career. They drafted and moved to get a guy like Tua. They traded away guys like Minkah Fitzpatrick and Laramie Tunsil to stockpile picks so they could get in position to get a Tua Tagovailoa. They need him to be a star. It's just that simple. He's supposed to be a franchise quarterback. That's what they're hoping for. That's what they're looking for. That's what the team needs from him. They need an impact guy to turn this season around offensively.
Tua, the only lefty starting quarterback in the league. Drew, thanks so much. Hang on for a few minutes. We're bringing you back later in the show.
Sounds good.
Dolphins fans, remember Devontae Parker out for this one, as well as Wolf Fuller. So the Dolphins missing arguably their top 2 wideouts going into this game. And Tom Brady had all of his weapons. Catches by 9 different receivers in this one when he threw for 400 yards. Antonio Brown, the main target, 100-yard receiving day that included 2 big touchdown catches.
Everybody's really contributing, and it's fun to see from my standpoint, all these different guys at different ages all kind of coming together as a group and being, I think, the best group of receivers in the league.
Constant pro, constant professional, constant leader, making sure not only he's doing the job, but making sure all other 11, 10 guys are doing their job. He never seen them amaze me, man. He just continue to up the standard and raise the bar.
Mr. Norland High right there. We've got more Dolphins talk coming up later in Sports Extra. We've got a lot of other sports going on. And for that, we want to bring in our Mike DePasquale, who's holding it down back in Miami. Mike, over to you. Hi, everybody. Welcome back out live to Raymond James Stadium. And it is time for SoFlo Pros. South Florida, home to so many great NFL players, actually producing the most professional football players in the country right here in our own backyard. We get to see him from high school all the way to getting paid on Sundays. And let's check in on our Week 5 action. We're going to start with the Broncos going on with Teddy Bridgewater. Such a great player. They're taking on the Steelers back under center. Had a concussion last week, 288 yards and 2 touchdowns. This one a 39-yarder to Cortland Sutton. Let's go to the end of the game. 17 seconds left. Broncos down 8, and Bridgewater is intercepted by James Pierre from Deerfield Beach. That's some SoFlo on SoFlo Pro crime. It's the first career interception for the second-year pro Pierre.
Out-of-body experience, but it was crazy. I know they coming, and I love it. I love it. It just gives me to show everybody what can I do, fight for my team, and just keep fighting no matter what happens.
Great moment for him. Cowboys hosting the Giants. Amari Cooper, also from Northwestern, with a 24-yard touchdown catch. 4th touchdown grab of the season. 3 catches for 60 yards for Cooper. Cowboys go on to beat the Giants. Browns in LA taking on the Chargers. Huge game for former Hurricane David Njoku. 7 catches, 149 yards, including the 71-yard catch and run for a TD. But the Browns fall to the Chargers. We welcome Drew Rosenhaus back to 7 Sports Extra. This team trying to forget about what happened in Tampa, Drew, moving on to London and the Jacksonville Jaguars. For the Dolphins, if they lose this game, who's on the hot seat?
I don't think we're at the point of pointing fingers or hot seats, but man, 1-5 and losing to the Jaguars, who haven't won 20 games. That would be that'd be rock bottom for this organization, and that'd be a better question for Stephen Ross. I know there are a lot of good players on this football team that are going to play with a lot of pride. This Jaguars team is going to be on a mission to avoid what could be a record-setting series of consecutive losses. So I can tell you the Dolphins, they'll be ready to play in London and hopefully get off the schneid here and get back to winning. This is the best opponent they could possibly face. So they're catching a break, and maybe it's a good thing to get out of the country and get out of town, get away from all the naysayers and start to turn their season around.
Drew, let's talk about this other team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of controversy with their head coach, Urban Meyer, off the field. If they lose to the Dolphins, they fall to 0-6. Is Urban Meyer on the hot seat?
He's already on the hot seat, Josh. His owner came out this week and said he's got to regain the trust of the organization. I've never seen an in-season statement like that one. His seat couldn't get any hotter. I think if they get blown out, it'll be even more difficult. There'll certainly be a big underdog in this game against the Dolphins who need to win, who will get Tua back. But Urban's seat is the hottest one in the NFL right now, and deservedly so. He'll be working extremely hard this week to try and encourage his team to get a W for him and try and get him out of that hot seat. That's about the only thing that'll get him out of it.
Off to London, the Dolphins go. 12 games remaining. Drew Rosenhaus, thank you so much as always.
You bet, Josh.
More NFL talk coming up, but now we got to go back inside the studio to our Mike DePasquale. Mike. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Xtra. We are live outside Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. The Dolphins already back in Miami beginning that recovery process. And Jacoby Brissett, that's a name to watch this week to see if he can get back and healthy. Jacoby injured in the first quarter, running out of bounds. Officially, it is a hamstring injury. Had to be taken to the locker room in a cart. However, he didn't miss any gameplay. Brissett ending up finishing the game 27 of 39 for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Brissett asked why he needed the cart in the first place.
I mean, I still was playing, so clearly, convenience. Yeah. Well, you saw me out there.
I know the guys on the cart.
Oh, yeah, for convenience.
He's going to put his heart out there every single day, even in practice, in meetings and everything. When he came back, when you see him go down, definitely worried us. But when you see him come back, it's not surprising.
Tough right there. Vikings hosting the Lions. We go around the league. Minnesota up 16-15, less than 40 seconds to go. After the Lions CD, Detroit going for the 2-point conversion. Jared Goff to Kadra Hodge. 2-point, they're up 1. 3 seconds to go. Vikings ball. Greg Joseph on for a 54-yarder. And as time expires, Minnesota beats the Lions. They fall to 0-5. And head coach Dan Campbell very emotional after the loss.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough. You know, you don't want that for them. Ultimately, you know, we didn't do enough to win, but I was proud of them, and I love the fight they have in them, and I love the grit.
Oh, man, the Lions already had this happen to them earlier in the season. Tough up there in Motown. We got the big finish next on Sports Extra. We'll see you on the other side. Big finish time. College football, winless UMass 0-5 against winless UConn 0-6. And how about this? The fans storming the field. UMass gets their first win of the season, 27-13. Hey, wins don't come easy, so when they come, you gotta celebrate them. That'll do it for us tonight from Raymond James Stadium. The Dolphins falling big time to the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On behalf of Drew, Donovan, and Mike, I'm Josh Moser. Thanks for watching 7 Sports Extra. Remember, the Dolphins heading to London this week to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Have a great rest of your night and start to your week. Good night.